Hi, dependency injection is very helpful when we are struggling with the objects, means when a class is calling to multiple services and then further it's got bigger and bigger in the project. So when we face the problem in real time while managing the objects, at that time dependency injection is very helpful. So my name is Nitin. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. So let's go ahead to check the agenda for today. So in this hands-on practical session, we will discuss why dependency injection required, and we will integrate the ASP.NET MVC application with Unity for dependency injection using NuGet Packages, and we will use the dependency injection inside ASP.NET MVC controller, and I will give you the hint how we can use it with views and action so you can do it by your own. And I will cover all the basics of dependency injection, which is very important, and including its advantages as well. And I will also show you what are the important facts about the Unity. Okay, and I believe you have basic understanding of object-oriented concepts, and I strongly suggest you to watch these sessions on solid design principles, type of design pattern, and repository, generic, and unit of work. So let's go ahead without wasting time. So as you can see on the screen, this screen is showing at the beginning we have a class which is calling to service A and service B, and at the end of the scene we can see multiple classes to multiple services, and then they are calling each other. So at that time it's very complex to manage them. So let's discuss why dependency injection required. In object-oriented programming, objects work together in a collaboration model where they are contributor and consumers. Naturally, this communication model generates dependencies between objects and components, and which is becoming difficult to manage when complexity increases. That's what the point I was talking about. So the dependency injection pattern is a particular implementation of inversion of control. Now you must be thinking, what is inversion of control? Inversion of control means that objects do not create their objects on which they rely to do their work. Instead, they get the objects that they need from the outside source. It means from the framework. Okay, so dependency injection means that this is done without object intervention, means no one is creating the object, and usually it is done by a framework component that passes constructor parameter and set properties. It means we will get the instance by just passing the constructor parameter. Okay, now there is one important point. Dependency injection is compared with abstract factory pattern for creating IOC container. I believe you know. If you don't know, so in the upcoming videos we will also discuss abstract factory pattern, so stay tuned for the same. Okay, now come back. But there is a slight difference between both approaches. Dependency injection has a framework behind to solve dependencies by calling the factories and the registered services. So that's how it is different. So you must be thinking about, I am just explaining all these points. These are the very important points before moving to the Visual Studio, because from the coding point of view it is very simple. You can do it very easily, but the concept, but the point that I am explaining, it is very important that you must understand. Okay, now there is a one small image is there. So in this you can see there is a book controller, and in that we are creating a new instance of unit of work. It means book controller is dependent on unit of work. Okay, so unit of work is my dependency. Now .NET supports the dependency injection software design pattern, which is a technique for achieving inversion of control container between classes and their dependencies. These are the very important points. You should not miss this one. By passing the dependencies to classes as abstraction, we remove the need to program dependency specific. Okay, so we are just passing the dependency and we are removing the dependency. Okay, that's how it really works. Don't worry if these things are not clear at this moment. We will switch to Visual Studio and I will explain these things in a very simple way, and you will love it. Dependency injection in .NET is a first class citizen along with configuration, logging, and other options pattern. And I'm not going to explain these logging and option pattern in this, but I'm just telling you so that you can understand in a better way what I am talking about. Now you must be thinking, what is first class citizen here? So a first class citizen is an entity which supports all the operations generally available to other entities, like passing as an argument, returned from a function, modified, and assigned to a variable. Okay, so unit of work class is a dependency of the book controller, as we can see in this image. Okay, now you will be thinking, we can call the classes by creating the instances, but what will be the problem that we will face in future? So if we are doing this work in a hard-coded dependencies we are giving in our classes, that will be problematic and should be avoided for the following reasons. So very first one is replace a unit of work. I am just taking this example. In a book controller we have unit of work dependency. Okay, so to replace unit of work with a different implementation, the book controller must be modified. Like in future, if you want to change the name of the unit of work class and there is any other further dependencies, any other modification required, in that case we also need to change in book controller, and which is bad idea. If unit of work has dependencies, they must also be configured by the book controller class. In a large project with multiple classes depending on unit of work, the configuration code becomes scattered across the app, and it is very obvious that is going to happen if we are going to use in this way, in your project. So this implementation is difficult to unit test, and app should not use a mock or stub unit of work class, which is not possible with this approach, because everywhere it's we are creating objects. So even from that point of view, it is very tedious to manage the unit testing. Okay, so now we have an idea what actually dependency injection is and what are the problems if we are not implementing the dependency injection. Okay, now let's see the few important facts about the Unity, because with the help of Unity container we are going to implement the dependency injection in our MVC solution. Okay, so by seeing this picture you can easily understand in Visual Studio we are installing the unity.mvc. Okay, so for the current project that I am going to show you, in that I have installed Unity 4. But before jumping to the Visual Studio, let me quickly share the important facts, because I don't want you to miss any of the point which is related to dependency injection. So Unity container is a lightweight, extensible, open source IOC container with optional support for trans and type interception, and it is a general purpose container for use in any type of .NET application. Okay, so we are using an MVC application which is based on .NET standard, or you can say the .NET framework. It supports all common features found in dependency injection mechanism, includes object creation, abstraction of requirement by specifying dependencies at runtime, and flexibility by deferring the component configuration to the container. And Unity container provides register type to register any type of dependency that we want to container should resolve, and resolve is a method that gives us the instance in that we are using our dependencies. Okay, so don't worry if it is not clear, I will show you in the practical part. So two ways to install Unity in Visual Studio: one through NuGet Package Manager and another one through Package Manager console. So you can just move to Package Manager console and run the command, which is very simple: install package unity.mvc4 5, or if you want to install the universal one, then you should only specify unity.mvc. Okay, now after installing the MVC, don't worry, I will show you in the practical session. The bootstrapper class file will be automatically created. Okay, so don't worry if it is not clear at this moment. And you must be thinking, if something is resolving automatically, so how we are setting the scope of that instance, for how long it will be available in the project to provide the services. So for that there are special 4 types of life manager in Unity. One is externally controlled lifetime manager, second one is per thread lifetime manager, and the third one is synchronized lifetime manager, and the fourth one is transient lifetime manager. That we are going to use is the transient one, which is used to create a new object of the requested type every time you call the resolve. Okay, so I hope every point is clear, and now it's time to switch to Visual Studio. This is my Visual Studio solution, and I'm using the same one that I was using in the previous session of unit of work design pattern, and this is a very simple ASP.NET MVC 4 application which is based on .NET framework. Okay, so the very first part that I explained in the important facts, what we need to do, we will first install the Unity. Okay, so right click on add reference and then manage NuGet Packages. Okay, if I show you in the installed one, you can see MVC4 is already installed, and if you will browse the unity.mvc, so you can see there are MVC3, 4, 5 or the universal one. So it's up to you what version you are using in your .NET solution or .NET project, so you can install them accordingly. So steps are same in all three versions. Okay, now after installing the NuGet package, then I can also show you the version which is installed. You can see MVC4 is there, it is installed. Now after installing this, so there is a one class which automatically creates, which is bootstrapper.cs. Okay, so in this class, if you see, there is a static method which is initialize. Okay, and in that we are creating a variable of container type with name container. Definitely in this part you are not going to change in a very general way. The main thing that you need to do is to register your type that you want to resolve at runtime. Okay, so this is my build Unity container, and in that again we are creating the instance of Unity container, and we are calling the register type method, so we can separately specify them. And if you will see, this register type is also available here. We are passing the container object here, and we can register dependencies in this way. Okay, so okay, right now it is commented. Okay, and what other changes required, you can see here in this application start, which is the very first point. While we are running the application, we are calling the bootstrap.initialize method. Okay, so as of now I can comment it before showing you. Okay, so I just save it. Even bootstrapper, we are not registering any type of dependency here, and in book controller where we will actually use. Okay, now we can see this is the same book controller that I was showing in the presentation. Okay, so in that you can see we are directly creating the object of unit of work class, and I have actually implemented this unit of work in this MVC4 application. And if you want to see that how we can implement unit of work in your project, either you can check out the description and the link is given in that. So we have implemented unit of work with the help of generic repository and unit of work. Okay, so so right now we are using directly creating the instance. Okay, and book controller is nothing we are doing in this. So let me show you before making any changes related to dependency injection. Let me run this solution. Okay, it will take few seconds. Okay, it is building my project. Now it is loading the solution. Now my project is running successfully. So you can see this is a simple book management system where we can see 2 books are available here, programming in C#, data structure, and we can perform all these actions that we can see. We can modify, like okay, programming in C#1, let's update this one, and again we can verify the changes are working in a real way, and I just update it. Okay, and we can also add book as well. Okay, just go back, we can also perform the delete operation as well. I have implemented all these operations. Okay, so now let me close this. Okay, and come back here. So how we are going to remove the dependency of this unit of work class? Okay, so we will create a variable of this unit of work type, which should be of private type. Okay, and let me first comment this one, and instead of using this in this way, let me create a private variable, Okay, and let's make it of interface type, and okay, and let me give it a name like this. Okay, just semicolon. And if you want to see the unit of work, so let me show you. This is a simple unit of work which is inherited by iDisposable, and in that we have two repositories, book and student, and one save method. Okay, now we have created. Now we also need to create one constructor injection. So for that we need a constructor. Okay, and for the timing I have commented this one. To implement unit of work, let me uncomment this one and let me apply the unit of work. Okay, unit of work, and let's give it a name. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, let me change the name. Unit of work, let me make it small, so according to convention it should be correct. Okay, let me do it like that, so we don't need to change in the complete code. Okay, fine. We have to perform one more changes because we have commented this one bootstrap.initialize. Okay, so we have to uncommented this one as well because it says we are initializing the bootstrapper where we are registering the dependencies. If I will build this, let me check if there is any. Okay, there is no error. Perfect. So what we have done, we have created a one private variable of iUnit of work type. Okay, and in the constructor of this controller we are passing the iUnit of work dependency. Okay, and that we are assigning the instance of it at runtime. It will be automatically created, and we are assigning this to the unit of work. Okay, and if I will try to run this right now, so we will get an error. I don't want to waste your time. I will just quickly go to the bootstrap tab. Okay, bootstrapper 1, and I will uncomment this one where we are registering our dependency, and we are saying when we want to use the iUnit of work, and we want to create the instance of this class iUnit of work, and which can be handled by the iUnit of work. Okay, and in this we are using a transient lifetime manager. It means every call will be a new call, every service request processed by a new instance. Okay, that's for what we use transient lifetime manager. Okay, let me save all changes, build the solution, and now it should work exactly in the same way as it was doing before. Okay, so it is building my application. Okay, my neighbor dog is very fast. Okay, here we go. My project is running successfully now. We can see if I perform the edit operation in it, let's say master 1 update, so it is working as it was working before. Okay, there is no change, but from the dependency injection point of view or from the object management point of view, we have implemented the dependency injection. Okay, so let me close this. Before closing this Visual Studio session, I just want to tell you, so Bootstrapper is doing this work automatically. The steps are calling this initialize method in application start. Okay, and in this Bootstrapper class we are registering the dependency, and in controller we are specifying one private variable and constructor injection. That's it. Okay, so before closing this session, let me show you the more advantages. Now we have the complete idea how dependency injection works. So let me go through you the a few advantages. Dependency injection addresses these problems. Okay, the use of an interface or base class to abstract the dependency implementation that we have just seen. With the help of interface we have implemented an injection of the service into constructor, or we can also inject in property. So why I am giving this square bracket and writing the dependency, because when you are injecting the property injection, so in that case you should use the dependency attribute on property. Okay, and if you are doing the method injection, method dependency injection, so on the method you should use the injection method attribute, okay, of the class where it is used. The Unity framework takes on the responsibility of creating an instance of the dependency and disposing of it when it is no longer needed. Okay, so that is the work which Unity framework is doing automatically. So by using a DI pattern, the unit of work service that we have just discussed don't use the concrete type directly, which is unit of work. Only the unit of work interface that implements it, that makes it easy to change the implementation that the controller uses without modifying the controller. Let's suppose in future we want to change the class name, so we are just using the interface name in the controller, so there is no impact on the controller and we don't want to modify the controller in future. That's why we implemented dependency injection. We can change the implementation according to our need in future in the concrete class, and it doesn't create the instance of unit of work, so it is created by a DI container automatically. And another advantages of DI pattern and the inversion of control are it reduces the classes coupling and increase the code reusing, and it improves the code maintainability, and it improves the application testing. Okay, so I hope I have added some knowledge in your bucket. I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching. If you have any query, any comment, any suggestion, just write into the comment box, and your feedback is very important. That's the only inspiration for me for my hard work. So see you in the next session where we will discuss dependency injection in .NET Core. Okay, till then, bye bye, have a good day ahead.